So, what if the proof of a life threatening medical error was hiding in plain sight for 3 entire decades? Today, we're going to deconstruct a veteran's medical file to explain the powerful case it makes that his own lab results, collected over all those years, tell an incredible story of a dangerous misdiagnosis. Yeah, that single, stark accusation. It's really the heart of this whole thing. And according to the source material, this isn't just an angry outburst, it's a conclusion drawn from literally thousands of pages of the veteran's own lab data. Okay, so let's get right into it. The core of this 30-year story is basically a medical fork in the road. The argument is that for 3 decades, a veteran was being treated for one rare disease while he was actually suffering from a completely different and in many ways opposite condition. On one side, you have polycythemia vera, a blood cancer where the treatment, believe it or not, is phlebotomy. They literally remove blood from your body. On the other side, you have Addison's disease, which is a failure of the adrenal glands that requires you to add critical hormones. And the central argument in the source is devastating. The treatment for the wrong disease was basically poison for the right one. Now, this concept right here is absolutely central to the entire case. The argument isn't that the veteran's blood wasn't thick. It was. The whole debate is about why it was thick. The source claims it wasn't because he had too many red blood cells, but because he had way too little plasma. It's a state of severe dehydration that's a classic textbook sign of untreated Addison's. So how do you even begin to build a case like this? Well, let's approach this like we're forensic investigators. We're going to start with the very first clue, the one that led to the original diagnosis in the first place, the red blood cells. Okay, so originally, doctors saw high hemoglobin and hematocrit. These are key markers for how concentrated your red blood cells are. And based on that, they diagnosed polycythemia vera. But the source material basically says, hold on, you need to look closer. It asks us to look at the other values that tell the story of the cells themselves. And this is where the plot just completely thickens. Because, yeah, the overall red cell count was high. But the cells themselves, they were small and pale. You can see it right there, persistently low MCV, which measures cell size, and low MCH, which measures hemoglobin in each cell. That is the exact opposite of what you typically see in true polycythemia vera. But you know what it is a textbook signature of? Addison's disease. And the argument in these documents doesn't stop with just the red cells. Not even close. According to the source, when you zoom out and look at the entire blood panel, every other part of the blood starts telling the exact same story. It's like the blood itself is making a full confession. And this slide lays out that argument perfectly. It's not just about one single weird value, it's about a consistent pattern. You've got these low lymphocytes, right? Then elevated eosinophils and monocytes, which are other immune cells. Even the size of the platelets is consistently high. The source argues that when you put it all together, they form this clear, distinct fingerprint for one thing: long-term, severe cortisol deficiency. Now, the evidence trail laid out in these documents doesn't just stop with the blood. It actually extends to other critical body systems. And the kidneys, well, the kidneys provide some of the most dramatic corroborating evidence of all. Just look at that number, -49. It's chilling. That represents the 49 points of kidney function measured as eGFR that were lost over the decades. We're talking about a decline from a healthy 119 all the way down into the 70s. That is a huge and progressive amount of kidney damage. So when you see kidney function dropping that fast, you're usually looking for culprits like diabetes or high blood pressure. But the source argues the real cause was hiding in plain sight the whole time, right there in the veteran's urine tests. And get this, the labs showed undetectable microalbumin. That means zero protein was leaking from the kidneys. The source uses this to pretty much rule out the common causes of kidney failure. Instead, the urine creatinine was through the roof. That's a sign of super concentrated urine. His body was desperately trying to hold on to every single drop of water because it was missing aldosterone, that key hormone for hydration that's absent in Addison's disease. Okay, so let's assemble all of these clues. We're going to bring together the evidence from the blood, the urine, and the kidneys to see the final, what the source material calls, airtight case. I mean, when you look at it all together, the argument is incredibly powerful. Every lab result from every single system points to one unifying diagnosis: untreated primary Addison's disease. And that last piece of the puzzle, a direct hormone test confirming his aldosterone was near zero, is presented as the undeniable smoking gun. And this just reveals the staggering gap between what he needed and what he was allegedly getting. The documents claim he was on half a dose of one critical hormone, a 0 dose of the other, and he didn't have an emergency kit for the life-threatening crises this condition can cause. And this wasn't just some quiet records review. The source documents a real-time, high-stakes standoff unfolding in late 2025. You can see these urgent messages, the refusals from providers, the dramatic escalations. We're talking 4 calls to the White House VA hotline and the filing of a multi-million-dollar claim. It was intense. But how could a situation like this possibly go on for 30 years? The source points to what it describes as major systemic issues: a lack of ongoing competency testing for doctors on rare diseases, legal shields that protect physicians, and a patient complaint system that sends grievances right back to the facility being complained about. So after all that, what was the final institutional verdict from that time? Well, despite the escalating medical evidence, the administrative side of the VA issued a formal decision. They denied service connection for the very disease at the heart of the entire conflict. And we're going to end on this line from the source, a statement of resolve that just captures the entire 30-year fight. It leaves us with a really critical question. In a battle between a patient's own biological data and powerful institutional inertia, what does it actually take for the evidence to finally win?